So we are going to be lighting and decorating a 3-foot wreath. The first thing we have to do, of course, is check the lights. When I check the lights on this wreath, they are very dim. And so we don't want to use this wreath just as it is. We want to undecorate the lights and then put the lights back, or take the lights off and then put new lights on before we decorate this. Unlight the wreath. I have both the male end here and the female end. As I go to take the lights off, one end is going to be much easier to unroll than the other, or I should say unravel. It just comes right off, and it will only take maybe 10 minutes at most to undo this wreath, maybe 5. If on the other hand I pick the other side, it's all seamed in underneath, and the only way to get it off is to push a piece of greenery through the light and then push another piece of greenery through the light, and each piece becomes kind of a backwards challenge. And I can get it off, but it's seamed in on top of itself. And so I don't want to do that. And we have some people who will take 45 minutes taking off lights the wrong direction. So if the lights are not coming off easy, then they're not just rolling right off, then you're not taking it off in the right direction. So these really should come off really easily. After I take these off, I'll put another set on. There are 150 lights that belong on a 3-foot piece, a 3-foot wreath. So I took off these lights. They took about 3 minutes to take off. I'm going to throw them away, and I have my new lights that I'm going to be putting on. I'm just going to double check the lights here. We can again see these are very dim, and it is light out here, so it's difficult to tell, but these are brighter than these, and of course we always want to check our lights before putting them on. So these dim lights I'm going to go ahead and throw away. These new lights, a couple of things to know about lights. First off, when we roll up lights, we always roll it like a ball of yarn, and we want to make sure that the male end, which is this end here, is always on the outside. Never roll it so the male end is on the inside. And when we're done rolling, we'll just simply tuck it under, and that's the way we store our lights to keep them from tangling. But here we are ready to light our wreath. And I can keep it plugged in, which I do like to do, but first I'm going to turn this to the back, and I'm going to find a place to start that is right by a horizontal bar. I'm going to bring my lights up from this front side, and I'll tie on my lights here. And just a simple tie, like tying a shoe, is sufficient. Then this will be available for the guys or the installers to plug in. So now I'll turn my wreath over, and I'm ready to start lighting. There are 150 lights that go on here. This just makes it a little easier to light as I go along. So what I'm going to do is, with this light, they're coming up from underneath, and I'm going to take a single piece of greenery, hoping we can see this here, come as close to the brighter side as I can of the table. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap clockwise around the greenery until I get to where we have the light. And then I'm going to take it, I'm going to twist the light up so it's facing forward. And then I'm going to twist clockwise down the greenery. So I've created an up, point the light up, and then the same direction going down, and that seems to light in on top of itself. I'm going to move over to the next piece, and I'm starting deep in. I'm not running my lights across the top, but I'm starting deep in, and I'm wrapping up the greenery, and then I'm twisting my light so it can poke forward, and then I'm running down the greenery. And I do this in kind of a zigzag pattern. So I'm going to go like this as I do these lights down and around here. So I'll start low, I'll twist, I come to the light, I twist the light so it pokes forward or up, and then I go the same direction back down. Now I'm going to move down just a little bit on the wreath, so I've kind of created a line this way. Now I'm going to come down, and I'm going to start zigzagging back. When I do this, there are two different types of greenery, which I don't know if you can see well. This is a bottle brush greenery. It's whiter, and the greenery pieces actually tend to come off a little more, but it's whiter than this other stuff here, which is thinner. The thinner ones are the ones that we are going to be putting the lights on. We don't put them on these fat bottle brush type of greenery. So as I'm coming through here, I'm skipping the fat one here. Here's a fat one. And I'm going to light on the skinny one, starting at the base and then coming up. So I've kind of gone this direction, now I've gone across, now I'm going to work my way down, coming across this direction. Now as I do this, one of the things I don't want to do is seam this so that these lights are just running kind of across the top. I don't know if you can see this, where we're just seeing the wire run right across the top. That is a common problem. Make sure you're not doing that. Make sure you're coming deeper into the wreath and then up, twisting your light so it pokes forward. Same direction going back down, but you're going up and down that piece of greenery. And that will give you the ability to tie in your ornaments later. If you run that wire right across the top, you will not be able to tie in your ornaments. So we've gone all the way around, and now we have this much light left. Ideally, if we've done it perfectly, we won't have light left, but oftentimes there is a little bit of light left, especially on these 3-foot wreaths, because it's 150 lights, which is a lot of lights. So rather than just taking this and tying it somewhere to the back, we still have to seam it in. So what I'll do is I'm going to go just around the outside edge here with this to make it a little easier, or to give it some place to go. So I'm just going to go right around the outside of this light, of this wreath. Now as I do this, I want to make sure that I'm seaming this stuff in tightly. I'm going to come back over here. That this is tight. Anytime I'm weaving in the lights, it's a tight weave. It is not a super loose weave because I don't want it to come out at some point in the future. Okay, we've come to the very last light here, and we can take this light and wrap it around our last piece of greenery, and then take this piece of greenery, and we're opening up the two halves of the wire, and I'm going to poke this greenery through, and that will end our light line.